Okay, good morning. This is our Tier 2 instruction for the kids that are in Tier 2/Tier 3. This is going to be on our skill for this week, and our skill for this and next week, the rest of these days of this week and next week, is character setting and plot, which are called literary elements. What are they called? Literary elements. And it's character, and a character tells you who is in the story. It could be people or it could be animals. Setting is another element, and it tells you when and where the story takes place. And then we have plot, and a plot is usually the sequence of events, what happens at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. All right, so let's read this. You should have this worksheet that is, and you need to submit it through Cami whenever we get done, and you get done reading it. Excuse me. All right, so your fingers should be under the words as we're doing this. The name of the story is Grandmother's Molars. Well, there's a word I don't know, M-A-L-A-S, Grandmother's Molars. Well, not sure what molars is, but I'm sure the text will give us some kind of clue using text evidence to find out what it might mean. My grandmother grew up in Central America. She was a Kuno Indian. Grandmother made a molas as a child. Molas are a kind of fabric art. All right, so our title, that molas word was up at the title, and now it's used in the text. And it tells us that molas are a kind of fabric art. Now, if you look at the picture to the left, that's an example of a molas. Okay. When I visited her home, Grandmother wanted to teach me to make molas. I liked to play with her farm animals, though. I did not like to sew, and Grandmother was very disappointed. Finally, she found an animal design I could make. Together, we made a mola of a beautiful bird. So they kind of compromised there. She liked to be outside. She wanted to play with the farm animals. Grandmother wanted her to sew and learn how to make the fabric art. So Grandmother came up with an idea to make a picture or a piece of art of a bird. So she kind of compromised. So I'm drawing that conclusion based on facts and details that I've already read and knowing what I know about farm animals. Basically, a bird is anywhere, not necessarily on a farm, but it's anywhere. All right, let's take a look at our questions. It says circle the letter of the correct answer for each question. What are you going to do? Circle the letter. Who is telling the story? We have three choices. We have grandmother, the granddaughter, or the mother. On the very first sentence says, my grandmother grew up in Central America. So do you think grandmother's telling the story? No. What about granddaughter? Possibly, because she refers to the lady as my grandmother. All right, what about the mother? Do you think the mother's telling the story? Never did mention the mother, did it? And there's no text information or text clues that tell us it was the mother. So my choice or your choice should be what? Make your choice. All right, you should have circled the granddaughter. Number 2, where does the story take place? Remember, that's called the setting, and the setting is where and when the story takes place. All right, let's look at our choices. The grandmother's house, Central America, the girl's home. Now, I know it mentions Central America, but did it say that's where she lived now? No, it said that's where she grew up. So she grew up in Central America, but that's not where it's taking place at now. Okay? The grandmother's house or the girl's home. Those are the two choices. So I'm going to go back and look in my text, and I'm going to kind of skim it. You know what skim it means? Scan it. It's where you just kind of roll over the text without reading every single word. It says I like to play with her farm animals, so I'm assuming or drawing the conclusion that she is probably at grandmother's house. It doesn't say anything about her own home or her mother at her house. So by reading the text, I'm making the conclusion that the story takes place at the grandmother's house. So you should have circled A. All right, number 3. What is the problem of the story? A, the grandmother forgot how to make molas. She didn't, because she wanted her granddaughter to teach her granddaughter how to make it, so she didn't forget it. The girl thought making molas was too hard. She didn't say it was too hard. She said, I like to play with the farm animals, though. The girl thought she would not like making the molas. All right, let's go back up to the text. It says, when I visited her Home, her home means she's at grandmother's home. Grandmother wanted to teach me to make molas. I like to play with her farm animals, though. I do not like to sew, and grandmother was very disappointed. So let's go back to our choices. It says, the grandmother forgot how to make it. Nope, that's the process of elimination. That's absolutely not. The girl thought making molas was too hard. Said she didn't like to sew. The girl thought she would not like making molas. I think you have a choice of B or C. Make your choice and then we'll discuss it. Okay, you should have chosen C. She thought she wouldn't like making it because she wanted to play with the farm animals instead of making the art. So once she made it, she decided that she did like it. Together we made a molus of a beautiful bird. So both at the end got what they wanted. The grandmother got to teach her granddaughter how to make the fabric art, and the granddaughter did something that she wasn't sure she'd like, but she ended up liking in the end. Okay, so make sure you complete this and make sure you submit it through Cami. And we're going to keep rocking and rolling just like we do in the classroom. Keep working on your assignments.